to the Magical Mystery School, and thank you so much for coming back for Astrology Update for August 1st, 2025. And as always, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. All that kind of stuff really helps me out a lot. Okay, so this is hopefully being published on August 1st. So on July 29th, 30th, right around midnight there, we had Venus go into Cancer. And what happened during that time? Well, I don't know about you guys, but we sure heard a lot of tsunami warnings around that time. So I thought that was kind of cool. Here, I'll put them up out there if you can see Venus. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And of course, Venus going into Cancer, you know, leaving Gemini, where she's all kind of talkative and flirty, but yet kind of more of a platonic friend type relationship than a big lover type relationship. So anyway, she's gone into Cancer now, and Cancer is the mother of the zodiac, all right? So now our feminine energy is into cooking and making wonderful meals and all that kind of stuff, and can be very romantic. Now men have Venuses too, so this just shows what they're looking for in women. So if a guy does have Venus in Cancer, he's looking for that very feminine, flirty kind of gal. And of course, Cancer is also known for being well endowed, if you know what I mean. So they're looking for those kinds of things too. Now, just to give you, oh, and I have also heard, I was talking to one guy with a Venus in Cancer, and he admitted to me that he finds pregnant ladies kind of sexy. I thought that was very Venus in Cancer, so I thought that was interesting. Okay. And just to let you know, now we'll be talking about this more next week, but on August 11th, 12th, Venus will be conjuncting Jupiter, all right? So that's going to be kind of cool. And on August 11th, that's the same day that Mercury goes direct. So next week is a very interesting week. Okay, all right, now let's see, what else is Venus going to do here? Well, on August 1st, this morning, she's going to square, just going into Cancer, going to square Saturn. So this Friday morning may be kind of like uptight at work, nobody's joking around or anything like that, or maybe your boss is just piling on a bunch of work on a Friday morning. So I would just recommend just put your head down, get your work done, because that afternoon, Venus then is going to square Neptune. Remember, this is always happening, Saturn, Neptune, right now, one right after the other. Now, it's a square, so it could simply be water issues, okay? Maybe a pipe breaks or something like that, or the sprinkler system doesn't work or something like that. But Friday afternoon, you're just going to feel like you're trying to see underwater. So it's going to feel like, I don't know if you remember the first time you opened your eyes underwater, and it's like, whoa, this is a whole different world under here. But give it some time. Let these transits pass, because also later that night, Friday. Now I don't talk too much about the inconjunct, but Venus is going to inconjunct. That's 50 degrees, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 times 30 is 150 from Pluto. And this is going to, oh, I forgot to check my clock. Oh well. This is going to be pretty blah energy. You just don't have the energy to do much. So again, I would just say Friday night, come home, take a nice big bubble bath, embrace your sadness and any kind of difficulties you may be having or things you don't understand. Just embrace them, cry in the bathtub, then pull the plug and let all that bad stuff just go down the drain, right? Okay. So that's kind of gets us up to speed. Besides that, I've heard good news from Ukraine. It sounds like they're really holding their ground against Russia. I listened to a guy called Jason Smart. He's a Ukrainian that's got like a PhD in Russian studies. Anyway, he's fascinating. I really enjoy his talks. And the other thing, of course, the tariffs, our taco tariffs are supposed to start today on August 1st, but we'll see. And then as far as the other news, Epstein, I'm listening, of course. But I'm just going to kind of wait till after Mercury goes direct before I really start getting get my brain too much in it, because I have a feeling there's a lot of misinformation. It'll be more good information coming out after August 11th. Okay. All right. Now, so let's go forward. Okay. So on August 6th, Mars is up here, and it's going to go into Libra right on this world axis. Oh, and in case you haven't noticed, I decided to just keep the sextile star on there. We do have our world axis, Aries to Libra here. Just remember there's another one on this Capricorn to Cancer. So Venus is on the world axis too, right? Okay, so just just keep that in mind, that's still out there. That's still a thing. So anyway, Mars goes into Libra August 6th at 4:23 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So now remember, Mars did its wobble back here between Cancer and Leo, so it felt like it was down here in Leo and Cancer like 6 months. And now it feels like it's kind of zooming, but actually it's just back to normal. Mars pretty much moves a degree every 2 days, and it spends 6 to 8 weeks in a sign. So that's about right. It went June 15th, I think it went into Virgo. So that's about right, about 6-7 weeks that it's been in Virgo, and now going into Libra. Now, of course, with Mars and Virgo, that's a very, picky, a little bit on the critical side, especially when it comes to lovers and things like that. And if you're involved with a Virgo, make sure you brush your teeth, stay clean, for sure. So they can be a little picky. But once a Virgo, and this is also true of any sun sign Virgo or whatever, once they do decide that you're the person for them, oh my God, it's like you have a servant. I mean, like, I have a nephew, he's a sun sign Virgo, and his wife has decided, or they've decided that she's going to be a stay-at-home mom and take care of the kids. So she does do that. But Mr. Virgo here, he does all the grocery shopping. He cleans the house. He vacuums, scrubs, tubs, everything. And he works 40 hours a week too. So, so he's a beck and call to her in many ways. So, and that's Virgo. Okay. Let's see. Now with Venus or Mars going into Libra on August 6th, it's a little uncomfortable there, because Libra is ruled by Venus, and Mars, I don't know if you ever saw the movie. I think it was called Achilles. Anyway, it was about Achilles, and it had Brad Pitt in it. And there's this one scene where he comes off the battlefield, and he's just, he's got his armor on, and he's got mud and blood and sweat, and, part of his equipment is ripped up and all this stuff. That, to me, is Mars, this sweaty mess coming off the battlefield. I should give him more credit, though. Now, in Libra, because of this Venus influence, there will be this sort of more passive aggressiveness and this direct, confrontations that we're used to with Aries. But one really good thing about Mars and Libra types, they do respect their vows. If you marry a Mars and Libra, that's going to be for life, that kind of thing. Now, I'm talking more on the personal level. On the collective or more societal level, Mars in Libra is more like just sort of smoothing out the rough edges, if you know what I mean. Venus is, cardinal, so she's pretty tough. Now, I got these tarot cards out, and let's see if I can keep some sort of focus going on here. Oh, goodness. All right, I'm going to have to put you on pause while All right, so here's the Justice card, which is our Libra card. And I don't know, you guys know I have this struggle with staying in focus. But there you can see she's got her scales. That's the Libra symbol. And she's got her double-edged sword. So that's what I mean. Cardinal sign. I mean, Libra's got the sword here. But with Mars coming in here, now is Mars just spitting down this spark of energy and going to knock the crown right off of our justice system in the United States? It's a possibility these days. Or is Libra going to smash that sword down on this concrete here and create a spark that blows the crown right off of this 3D tower that's been built on this pretty shoddy foundation here? So we'll see what happens here with these, with all this Mars and Virgo and Libra energy here. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that. And hopefully, I'm so technology impaired, but I'm doing pretty good. All right. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that, and just remember the way you want to use these cards. If you feel like you're having difficulty with any planet, like say you're having a difficult Mars session, pull this key out and meditate on it 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes before you go to bed. And you might be surprised just what clarity might happen. Because that's why I do all this, is because your subconscious mind is happening and watching us as we're doing all this and is totally on board. But the subconscious mind responds to all these symbols and pictures more than the conscious mind does. So anyway, okay. So like I said, so here we come. So Mars, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to trine Uranus, because that's what we always look for when a planet goes into a new sign. And that's a really nice aspect. And also remember, Mars rules Scorpio and Uranus is exalted in Scorpio. So these guys are getting a little bit, am I getting cattywampus here? No, I guess that's okay. Maybe, yeah, I got to move this guy a little bit that way. All right. Get this. There we go. Okay. So anyway, so the Mars is going to trine Uranus, and I'm going to go ahead and put that. Whoop. I love this. It's like playing pickup sticks. I'm probably the only one that's old enough to have done that, actually. But here we got a nice smooth flow of energy. So as far as new innovations, you know, electrical, engineering, all that kind of stuff, as well as, you know, Uranus is, you know, ruler of Aquarius. So we're into freedom and telling the truth and feeling inspired, air signs, you know, mentally feeling like we can talk about things, or we want to talk about things. Now, just to let you know, that's on August 8th. And then on August 10th, just 2 days later, is when Mars is going to trine Pluto. Boink. Not too bad, huh? Okay. All right. So I can keep all my sticks going. So that's another trine. Now this one, talk about willpower. I mean, it's kind of like with Saturn, but more, I mean, just more like unconscious strength, right? This is you know, Pluto is our ruler sign, right? I mean, judgment. I mean, you gotta listen to Gabriel's horn with Pluto, or you're going to be left behind. Pluto is willing to fight. It wants to take action about things. It is decisive. And that's the other thing. If you know anybody with a Mars-Pluto trine or a sextile, these people know no fear. They'll say, oh, this is the right thing to do, and I'm going to do it. Cool. Okay. So very determined people. And then to finish it off here, this makes a beautiful grand air trine. Boop. Did I get it? Close enough. All right. So what do we got here? We've got, let's start down here with Gemini air. So like we said, very sociable, but more, you know, family-oriented, neighborhoods, where you live. Whereas Libra air sign, oh, and all three of these air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, intelligent. These are all mental signs, very smart, very, you know, These people, they know what's going on. All right. But Libra, this is where you make one-on-one contracts. That's why it's considered sort of the house of marriage. So who you're going into business with, bosses, employees, more of that kind of thing. Whereas here, now we get up into Aquarius. This is where we get into the society, the communities, the countries, the governments, you know, that kind of groups of people, big groups of people, that kind of thing. So we've got this beautiful grand trine going on. Now that was August 10th. And of course, right in the middle of all this is that we have the full moon. So the full moon happens on August 9th. So this is, you know, so that means the full moon's in Aquarius, and it's at 17 degrees. So basically like right smack in the center of Aquarius, because, you know, every sign is 30 degrees. So 17 would be just about halfway. So that means, you know, totally opposite here is the sun. So the sun is totally illuminating this moon here. So that's so this full moon, this trine is in full operation, that's for sure. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the other thing that's going on, and this is also on August 8th, you know, first Mars is going to go into, Libra on the 6th, and on the 8th trine Uranus, but then almost immediately after that, it's going to oppose Saturn. So remember this, this is going to be our pattern here. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? For right now, while the planets are lined up like this. Now, Mars and Saturn, it could be some violence coming out, resentments, people feeling oppressed. Just in your work life, you might feel like your boss is oppressing you, that type of thing. Just, you know, this could be kind of destructive. Now, whenever I see Mars and Saturn together, I always think the military too. So, and with, you know, in fact, every time I look at somebody's chart and they have a Mars-Saturn, a really strong contact, I'll say, oh, was your dad in the military? And I mean, like every time they say yes. And if he wasn't, he was a policeman or something like that. So this is really a military type thing. And I'm just going to keep talking. And with Neptune so close here, we might see some sort of battles at sea or something like that. I know the Ukrainians want to get the Black Sea for themselves. But anyway, now the best way, the most positive way to use Mars opposed Saturn is to do spiritual action, okay? And that could be anything from yoga, tai chi, that kind of thing, to going out and volunteering, especially with Neptune here. Helping others will be the best use of this type of energy. Now, like I said in the past, when I see this Neptune here, I'm kind of glad Saturn's here, because Mars opposed Neptune can open us up to all sorts of misinformation, difficulties in even knowing what we want, because Neptune can really throw water on things, right? But this, with Saturn and Mars here, this could be a time, this full moon, really when secrets come out. Gosh, I hope so. And they could be sexual secrets, you know, with Mars there and Aries and that type of thing. Very nonconformist, so some deceitful and really underhanded things coming out. And also be aware on a personal level of weird things coming out, you know, or something kind of weird that just bubbles up from inside of you. Almost like, you know, you kind of look at something and you go, ooh, that's kind of neurotic of me, or something like that. Pay attention to these things, because that's your subconscious trying to get your attention and tell you something with that Neptune there. So watch out for that too, for sure. Okay, so I think, oh, and the one last thing I wanted to mention, now I have talked about the SEMISQUARE and the SESQUISQUARE before, and it's also called SESQUIQUADRATE. quadrates, same thing as square. And, oh, and I didn't mention this, I don't think. I have put this like in 2 words. They're not 2 words. I just made these squares big so that you could, especially with SESQUISQUARE, I see a word like that and it kind of turns into scrambled eggs in my brain. So that's why I did that. But anyway, remember the semi-square is half of a square. So that's 45 degrees, 90 divided by 2. Then we take that 45 for the sesqui, because sesquis means 1.5 in Latin. And we take 91 plus a half, 45, and then we get 135. So keep that in mind. Because when we look at Mars with this full moon at 17 Leo, okay, so this is a 0 basically. So we've got 30 degrees for Virgo, and then just to make it easy for ourselves, let's just say 15. And we've got 15 into Leo to get to that sun, so that's 45. So we've got a semi-square here. And then when we look at Mars to the moon, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Each sign has 30 degrees, so 4 times 30 is 120, right? 3 times 4 is 12 plus a 0. And then here we've got 15 more degrees. Again, I'm rounding here for the moon. So that's 120 plus 15 is 135. Whoa, whoa. So we've got a semi-square here and a sesqui-square here to that Mars. So again, that's just adding another punch to this grand triad. So hang in there, everybody. Oh, and next week we will talk about, of course, Mercury going direct on August 11th, and hopefully that'll be August 8th when I get that published. And then Venus conjuncts Jupiter on August 12th. Oh, and also on the 11th, this perfects Saturn and Uranus sextile. So you know this sextile is coming up pretty soon, right? Okay, guys, I think I've gone on long enough. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you got a lot out of this and that your next week will be fabulous. All right, everybody. Bye. Thanks again.